Welcome back. I think it's a secret that Real Madrid had to go all in until summer, despite our 2 years without any single trophy won, and this Mbappe Vini era has kind of left no really things to see in terms of achievements or trophies. I feel like they really want to make this team great, and they had to go in this summer and bring lots of players, and they could have done that. They brought in maybe 5, 6, 7 players into the team. I will look at every single one of them and see if they're good players, if they're good signings, if they fit the team or not. And all of these new signings change the team of Real Madrid and how far they can go this year. The first signing is that on Dumfries, and honestly, I don't know if I like it or not. I think a lot of question marks about Dumfries that makes me a bit doubtful about this signing. First off, Dumfries is someone to be older now. I think last year the biggest problem they had with right backs, and obviously Carvajal being left as well this summer, was that both Carvajal and Trent were really not much available for the entire season. They had a lot of injury problems as well. So to bring in someone also getting a bit older to replace Carvajal, obviously there's still a big need because that right back role kind of left field with Carvajal left. I felt a bit more smart to bring in someone who will be able to play every single game of the season. And with Dumfries being a bit older and still obviously with the age coming up, the fitness issues kind of tend to also come up a bit more. I'm kind of scared to see how Dumfries be able to handle the entire season if Trent continues with his fitness issues. If not, maybe the backup role will still be good for them and won't have any trouble kind of thinking about those fitness issues or not, thinking about injuries. I don't think that's really the biggest question mark about Dumfries and going to Real Madrid. I think really the biggest red flag that we have is the fact that Dumfries has been playing in the back 5 for a long time now at Inter and has made his name in the back 5. Obviously at Inter, he was kind of someone who had the role of being more of a winger wheel than a fullback. He was given freedom to attack, to go up and down the flanks. I don't know if he kind of has that same role at Real Madrid. Obviously Inter was amazing at doing that, it was amazing at doing those offensive capabilities. Kind of similar to Trent as a fullback who is amazing offensively. Then on defensively, he has obviously some things left to desire. So I believe that's really the biggest question mark for me about the clash of fits at right back. Because if you have someone like Trent who obviously is amazing offensively, can do so many roles for you as a fullback, you kind of play more like winger or play more like midfield sometimes, can play more inverted or wide. I thought it could be nice to see a right back come in. Obviously, first of all, be a bit younger to kind of see more be available throughout the entire season, but also second of all, be more of an opposite polar to Trent. Because if, again, as I said, if you have someone who Trent's offensive capability and when it gives you nothing on the defensive end, there will be some games where you kind of feel the need to bring in a right back who's able to actually defend. I mean, against Barca, for example, do you feel comfortable with Rafinha going up against Trent? Do you feel comfortable in that matchup? Do you feel comfortable in a matchup of Trent against Andy Gordon? Because I honestly wouldn't feel so. So I feel like it would be kind of normal for a lot of teams to kind of think of bringing in more of a defensive-minded right back, kind of like Liverpool did for sometimes at Liverpool. And Dumfries is not someone that actually can do that. Not someone can come in a bit a defensive-minded fullback whose main strength is defensively. A lot of times these kind of defensive-minded right backs also can play in the middle. And Real Madrid is a team that had horrendous depth on the defensive line last year. Maybe left back was only position where they're kind of confident in what they had there, but as center back and right back, they're left a lot of times with no depth at all. So they're bringing someone to be able to play in both positions will also be a great positive. So that's why I feel like Dumfries maybe doesn't fit in this team, or maybe a new other player would be kind of the best fit rather than Dumfries on this team. I feel like Real Madrid is still going after those big name signings. Now they saw a guy with the big name that is Dumfries and thought of bringing him in to kind of make the deal with Trent, but I don't think it was the best decision sporting-wise. Now, to Cucurella, this is a signing that I kind of like a bit more. I do think Samuel fullback than Dumfries, and I do feel like the role and his fit at Real Madrid will probably be way better than it is with Dumfries. I mean, obviously the biggest thing can ask yourselves about this signing is I really need to bring a left back. Obviously, they have 3 left backs in Fran Garcia, Cajeras, and Mendy. Mendy is now going through a big injury, I believe, as kind of is usual with them. So you're kind of only left with Cajeras and Garcia. And I do know that Cajeras has not had the biggest year of his season yet. It didn't have the best debut campaign for Real Madrid. But he's still a guy that has potential, and you spent almost 50 million on him last summer. So the need to not go and drop him to back a left back, because Cucurella will undoubtedly be the main left back for this team. I don't think it would be a big need to put Carreras back on the bench and kind of limit him to more of a bench role. I don't know, maybe kind of makes him play a bit less fearless, I don't know. But I don't really feel like there was a need. I mean, obviously it's an upgrade. Cucurella is definitely a better upgrade over the Carreras. I don't think there's really a question to be said about that. I just kind of have some doubts about the need for that signing. But if you only look at the quality of the player, have an upgrade from player X to player Y, that is Carreras and Cucurella, I do think that it is a massive upgrade, and that they can also, it doesn't really change the defensive line. It doesn't really change their team because Cucurella is not someone who's able to impact your team by a lot. But still, a nice upgrade to have over left back. You don't really spend a ton of money on Cucurella for the ability that he has, for the name that he is as well. I don't really think that the money is maybe 40-50 million, maybe even less. I don't think there was that big of money spent. It's kind of a surprise signing as well. So I do like this signing. Like this is the first signing that for now will have a nice impact on Madrid. Let's have a good fit as well. Third new signing is Konate. Obviously the need is there. They had Usain last year was not the best center back. Obviously he has some experience problems. He still makes some mistakes here and there. They had Asensio, which is really bad. Alba and Rudiger were almost always injured. So they obviously have a very big problem when adding that depth in the middle. And Konate is someone who comes in and helps them. Obviously, the big question mark you have about him as a player is the fact that last year he was not the greatest center back that Liverpool has ever seen. I think he kind of fell down a lot in form last year. They can also be due because of his father passing away and some complications with that. So I can't expect Konate to go back to form that he had pre this year. And if he does that, it's going to be an amazing signing for Real Madrid. It's going to be a massive upgrade on their defense. And even if it doesn't really come back to that prime form that he once had, the form that he still was last year at Liverpool is definitely still higher than what Rudiger was, and what Alba was, and what Usain was as well, what was Asensio as well. So definitely will still be an upgrade no matter what. Now this duo in the middle, it always kind of has something to the desired, and that is their lack of not doing mistakes. I mean, Konate is someone who did a lot of mistakes last year. Usain kind of same thing as with him as well. So there will be some games where Real Madrid probably lose points because of someone of Usain or Konate making some mistake, and I'll be able to kind of recoup that in the game. So there's obviously some question marks around their fit as a duo. I do feel like if you look at it as a duo, look at how they played last year at their backs, I do feel like maybe a new one will be better. Someone to be more reliable backup who could compete with Usain or Konate, kind of get a starting role. I feel like would be the most ideal scenario for Real Madrid to think about and bringing in a center back. If they go into this season with a back duo of Usain and Konate, I wouldn't be feeling really bad about it. I do think it's still a massive upgrade. Konate is someone who doesn't really have as many fitness issues as maybe Alba and Rudiger has, which is a plus as well. So I feel like even though they fit together as a duo in Usain and Konate, I do think that they'll be good defensively. I think it does improve the defensive line. Now, do I think that Real Madrid still have a good defensive line now? I don't think so. I think that a lot of teams out there will have a better defensive line. I think Barca in itself a better defensive line than what Real Madrid currently has now. But kind of steps, you know. If last year's defensive line was a really big nightmare, you're not going to go from that to one of the best in the world in a summer. So kind of step by steps. I mean, Cucurella is a massive upgrade on Carreras. Konate is a good upgrade as well. So step by step, start building what is still like a good defensive line. Maybe next year, right in to the back, or you try to do something more with Trent as right back and try to clear more the situation. And for me, so far right now, we have 3 new signings. I like 2 of those. Dumfries is still someone a bit of a question mark, but I like Cucurella and Konate as new signings. The 4th player is Bernardo Silva. This is a player that I'm kind of more questioned about. I'm more worried because I'm not seeing Milik is fit with Real Madrid. Obviously, some of the Manchester City played more right winger. I don't think their role is really there at this point. I mean, they have Arda Güler can play there. They have Rodrigo. They have Nadia Monde as well. We'll talk about it a bit later. Bernardo Silva is someone who obviously has tons of experience and that is good to add on this team. I kind of feel like kind of lacks that sort of presence in the dressing room. But still, in terms of sporting wise, I don't see I'll be able to kind of fit in this team. What his role will be. I'm envisioning him playing more in midfield. I mean, Real Madrid also had a problem with having maybe deep line playmakers into midfield. Tchouaméni, Camavinga, Valverde, they aren't really great passers with the ball. They're not really great midfielders in that aspect. When Kroos and Modric left, you gonna have a big role left to fill in that midfield. And Bernardo Silva, I'm not expecting him to kind of be that, because I don't think he's the kind of player to replace Kroos or Modric. I don't really think he's also a great divine playmaker. I do feel like his best role comes towards more playing offensively, playing more in the final third. I don't think it's going to come in and place number 6, also because the questions you have defensively are going to be even bigger now that he's getting older. So I do feel like he can answer a weird place in this team where I don't know where it's going to fit. And if I'm going to be honest with you, I don't think Real Madrid should have gone with his signing. Obviously, I know he's on a free, and that obviously means a lot of financial upside in terms of this signing. But I still feel like they spent a bit more on a midfielder who's able to kind of feel more of that deep and playmaker role. Not even, I mean, still, for example, Stuttgart Steeler is someone who kind of fit in very well to Madrid and kind of play that number 6 role, even if it might mean in more of a backup role to kind of start off the season. But I do feel like we a better fit than Bernardo Silva, for example. So I have a lot of question marks around Bernardo Silva and where will fit with his team. We'll see him playing a right winger. We'll see him playing midfield. Now, I saw Mourinho talk about Bernardo Silva maybe a days ago, talking about him coming pre-season out of form and he didn't really do any work in holidays. So maybe that's something to be worried about. I don't know if it's or not, or if it's something like that was usual Bernardo Silva that just I don't know ourselves. But I feel like Bernardo Silva will have a weird role at this team. Obviously, I feel like the things you can bring in on the dressing room in terms of experience, in terms of leadership as well, because he was City's captain for a while. I do feel like to be positive, and I do feel like that dressing room will probably need some of that. But when we talk about as a signing, as a player coming to the team, I feel like you can either waste some minutes from Camavinga and Arda Güler, who I think will need those minutes to even develop. I mean, Camavinga kind of go through a bad year as well. I mean, bringing someone who's going to be able to steal spotlight, steal his minutes, and not really play that well, in my opinion, I don't think it's worth it. Even Arda Güler is someone who I feel like you can see the potential a lot in him. And also someone who can be very versatile. He can play right winger, he can play midfield. And I kind of fear that Bernardo Silva has come in and steal some of his minutes. And I'm kind of afraid of what Bernardo Silva coming to this team will do to those two guys. 5th player is Carlos SP. SP is a bit of a question mark for me. Not really a question mark, I'm still left to see how good he is. I don't really know him a lot. I don't really see him play well last year because he was playing, I think, Levante, something like that. So I don't know much about him as a player, but I do feel like his role, his kind of profile as a player will be good for Madrid. I feel like we saw the best version of Madrid 2 years ago when he had Joselu as a number 9 playing a lot of times off the bench. And kind of doing a very good impact off the bench and scored a lot of crucial goals into that season. I feel like Madrid liked number 9 to go down the box, be able to score headers as well, able to score the goals when Mbappe weren't playing well together. I feel like obviously it is a good player. Now, it's an upgrade on Garcia. I don't know, I feel like Garcia was still a good player when Real Madrid had him. Maybe Ashley is more of that natural 9 target man that he should be looking for. But I kind of feel a bit sad that Garcia has not gone to Fulham and Real Madrid lost opportunity to have on your team. But when he played last year, he was a good player. I feel like if he get more opportunities, when he played from the start, he had a good game. Gold Cup, which is kind of a high level, not really the biggest of levels, obviously, but still high level. He played very well at the World Cup. Again, when he had the opportunity to play from the start in La Liga, he always played well. And obviously, I'm gonna be sad to see him go. I feel like SP can be someone who can kind of replace him easily, and we'll see how Real Madrid kind of fares away. But I do like Real Madrid has now finally decided to go bring in a number 9 that's proper number 9. Not really a guy like Mbappe who kind of wants to go more to left and plays more in deep, etc. And it's good to see that kind of target man come back to Real Madrid. Now, what will this mean for Enrique? Because Enrique spent half a year at Lyon doing amazing things. He played very well in Lyon, played very well in France, he got a goal up to the World Cup. Did he play great in the World Cup? Not really, but I don't think any Brazilian players played that great, and he didn't really have a big role in Brazil at the World Cup. So I'm not putting that against him. But I feel like not going another season where Enrique is seen as number 3 striker, behind Mbappe and now SP, I'm sorry. So how comfortable I feel with Enrique being that third striker when just had an amazing year at Lyon. I don't know, I feel like it's gonna be bad on Enrique. I do feel like the opportunity for Real Madrid to add this summer of letting Mbappe go to left winger, seeing Vini out, and have SP and Enrique as the 2 strikers, I felt would be amazing for them. If they actually did that, I'll be very comfortable with the signing. I'll feel very positive about Real Madrid as a whole. I feel very positive, very confident in Real Madrid, But again, that's not what they did. They chose to keep Mbappe and Vini, and now seeing SP and Nedved kind of act as auto-advanced strikers. And the thing with Mbappe is, he probably will play every single game. If he's fit to play every single game, he'll play most of the minutes as well. So I don't really envision SP getting a lot of game time, let alone Endrick as well. So I do feel like, even though I like him as a player, I like the fit of SP in this front three. I like his I'll say this. I like his profile of a striker. I'm sure I like him as a signing. I just don't think that Real Madrid is going the right direction with this front three. I think really the biggest problem they had in terms of fit and this team has been the front three. Figuring out a way to Mbappe and Vini play together has also been a nightmare for a lot of these Real Madrid managers. And I think we're going to another season where this will be the case yet again. We don't know how Vini and Mbappe was able to play together, and not can. I mean, they had a time where they had the opportunity to sell Vini for a lot of money to Arsenal and rebuild the front three, bring the keys to that tank, to the striker position to SP and Nedved, and they didn't do that. They were afraid to let Vini stay at Real Madrid, brought him in on a new 6-year contract. 6 is a lot, so I feel like that. Because of that, I don't feel confident in this attack anymore. I really do hope that SP has some game time, and we don't see a situation where Endrick as well goes out on loan another season or even gets sold. I don't want to think about how SP will get his game time this year. If he'll be kind of more of a backup player really in some cup games, if he'll play some minutes here and there. It also depends on how fit Mbappe be this whole season. If doesn't get the injuries, I'm not really confident in SP getting a lot of minutes and being a great signing. I like, in theory, SP was a missing player to be brought in. I don't think that Real Madrid is going to play him a lot. Last player is Jan Mondia. This is obviously a great signing. Jan Mondia is an amazing player. As coming for tons of money, yes, but he is really an amazing player and kind of answers the question that Real Madrid always had for right winger. I mean, they had so many players played there in the past few years with Rodrigo, Marcelo Antonio, Arda Güler, Valverde sometimes as well. At that, never really had the answer for their proper right wing for the future, and then Mondia kind of feels like that answer for Real Madrid. But again, I don't really think that his fit with front three would be great. I mean, it's a guy, again, it's also very much ball heavy, same as Mbappe and Vini. I don't really like a front three that every single player in the front three is very much ball heavy, needs the ball to be able to impact the game. So that part's already a bit doubtful for me, with a lot of question marks. Also, first of all, Mondia won't come as a perfect player. Mondia won't come as a player that his price tag is telling he is. I do think he has still some weaknesses in his game. I don't think he's the right product that it's going to be. Obviously, in maybe 2, 3, 4 years time, I think we'll see his prime version. I don't think that right now is going to be able to be that guy just yet. Because obviously, he's been playing first in football about a year and a half. The experience, lack of experience, always going to be there. And I don't think it's going to come. Maybe I kind of feel like I see a path similar to what Vini had when he first came to Real Madrid from Flamengo. Obviously, a big price tag, not as big as Mondia's, but still someone came through a lot of hype. Kind of had barely any experience of first team football. Came from a league, the Brazilian league, that obviously the level is a bit lower. But I kind of feel afraid a little bit that we'll see him going the same path of Vini Jr. coming to Madrid, having a bad first 2 seasons in there, and then kind of becoming the player that is right now. I don't think Amondia kind of going the similar path, kind of being more of disappointments in the first division first year, and then we'll see from next year on, we'll see kind of become more of the player that he can be and have more of a bigger role. And this third player that I see more as left winger on the Real Madrid squad, Vin's left winger, Mbappe's left winger, Mondia's left winger. So I don't feel confident in seeing Mondia go play long term as right winger. I do think his best fit comes from the left, especially right footed as well. Obviously, Leipzig played mostly on the right this season, and this was a breakout year. But I do feel like that his best campaigns came from the left. Best campaigns came from the left. And I love for him to go to a team who get opportunity for him to play more on the left and use that versatility to play on both sides. Real Madrid is not really going to do that for them. And I don't know, I can feel a bit, I don't know what the word for that really is, but I don't really feel confident in Real Madrid going out to front three of Vini, Mbappe, and Mondia, and actually being successful with it. These are all guys who like to play in the same position, like to play in the same area. obviously Mondia be obligated to play more on the right, to not be a left winger as much. Maybe that kind of hindered his development in his performances as well. If he's already not a big jump coming from Leipzig to Real Madrid, especially what type of player he is, because not really the main product. If you put him on the tier list of the best wingers in world football, it wouldn't be maybe top 5, or probably be in top 10. I don't think it would be in top 5. I don't think his ability is comparable to Adoué, to Rafinha, to Yamal, to Rascalia. I think it's still far below those type of wingers. So I kind of don't really feel confident in him for now, like maybe the first half of the season, to kind of make a big upgrade on this front three, especially looking at how they play right now and how boring they are. The offense as a whole is very stagnated, very kind of ball heavy. More like give the ball to Vini, let him work. Give the ball to Mbappe, let him work. I feel like that they're trying to always continue with Mondia. Give the ball to Mondia, let him work. Also, this team will always be a demon in counter attacks, because I mean Vini, Mbappe, and Mondia, there is a tremendous amount of speed on that front three, and that will be very dangerous for all defensive teams. But apart from that, I only see that when the ball's in play, when they're actually playing, trying to create attacks, I don't see how that front three will be effective in a lot of games. I feel like they're gonna struggle a lot in Champions League. If they play against a good team, I feel like even against some low blocks they'll struggle a lot. So I don't feel confident in this front three. I do like obviously individually the players again. They're big name players, right? They're big name signings. Also apart from SP, all of these players brought in were the big name signings. The guys that we know had a great reputation in world football, as a great name for themselves. Mondia has a lot of hype in him as a player. I think we're seeing again Real Madrid going in the direction of bringing in all these big name players and not really thinking about the fit as a team, not really being the best team possible. And Mondia kind of is another example falls into that. I do think that like the players I really like going to Madrid will be Cucurella, SP and Konate. Those are the three signings that I really like to see Real Madrid have. And even like SP, I do feel like Real Madrid will probably mishandle that this season. Yeah, I don't see him getting a lot of game time this year. I think Real Madrid had a golden opportunity, the golden snitch for this summer, to let Vini go and let Mbappe go to left winger and give him the full reins of the attack. Instead, they chose to keep Vini, bring in SP to have 3 strikers in your rotation, bringing them on the to make this attack even more ball heavy. I don't feel confident in this front three a lot of Real Madrid. I don't get this front three, I don't put it above PSG's, I don't put it above Barcelona's, I don't put it above a lot of other teams in the world. And I mean, obviously, I think they want to win trophies this year. It'll be the third year where this Mbappe and Vini duo, this Mbappe Vini era, will not win any trophies. And I do feel like Real Madrid, even though there are some signings here and there, they have some good signings, I do think they're going to walk towards another year with no trophies.